Hey guys, and welcome back to GT New Horizons. Last episode we gathered the materials for just under 5 stacks of our first stainless steel dust, which is our gate into high voltage. But we are not quite ready for high voltage just yet. To turn the stainless steel into dust, well, we have to run this through the blast furnace. However, relying on this steam supply is not going to get us through to HV, so today our plan is to upgrade the power. But between episodes I have been working on this. So I moved our steam grinder from this location here with the LV machines, and this is going to be our first very basic ore processing system. I wanted this to be cheap, efficient and easy to run, so we're just using LV machines and even simple washers for this. However, these washers do need water, and rather than making any more of those railcraft water tanks here, now that we have access to stainless steel, we can make something called the Reservoir from Enderio. So I've been doing a bunch of crafting here, but we need to make the first HV motors. Turn those into our first HV pumps, which we should have all the materials for. Then we can craft our HV pumps with some fused quartz, and this gives us the reservoirs, which is probably a quest somewhere, it's just that we've not unlocked HV yet. So if we drop down below this setup here, we have some wiring in place. I've hooked up our reservoir here. I think we just have to manually fill it once. And yeah, as you can see, there is no water in these pipes. This is just a free and infinite source of water, much easier than using the railcraft tanks, and I think it has filled the simple washers. So I guess while we're down here, we'll also go through the wiring really quick. So we just have 3 steam turbines, which we repurposed from the blast furnace, feeding into a 4x battery buffer with some LV batteries. This goes into 4x redstone alloy cable, which is the lossless cable for LV. The LV cable is hooked up straight to the forge hammer up there. But these simple washers are ULV, so we have ULV transformers here, so that we don't end up with an explosion if we plug LV power into these things. And then yeah, the water supply just comes up the side, and we are powering the grinders here with an extra steam supply, which goes all the way along the wall here, snakes up and around the doorway, and straight into our iron tank. So the idea with this setup is I wanted to try to get through some of these chests. I mean, look at all the resources we have here. All of these have to be processed. I think we have 2 chests full of ores. So if we take these 2 ore for example, we have sulfur and ruby. The sulfur here we can only get sulfur dust, no matter which way we process. Some extra steps will give us extra sulfur, but no matter what we do with this, we're always going to end up with sulfur dust. So for things like that, that's going to go through the left crusher. We have a conveyor on here to pull the inputs, conveyor to send the outputs to the diamond chest. This will be sent through the forge hammer, simple washed, and we end up with clean dust on the outside. But for things like ruby ore here, well, that's going to go through the one on the right hand side. And the processing line for ruby ore gets a little bit more complex. This is basically things we want to sift. Well, either sift or centrifuge. So this is still going to crush it in the macerator, in the grinder as the first step. And it's all going to be put in this chest here as crushed. And then if we want the exquisites, which is probably not likely with the purified ruby, then we'll send it through the sifter. Eventually we'll have a multi-block for this thing. Or if we want the chrome dust, which is a bit more likely, then we'll send it through the centrifuge and we'll get a chance at chrome dust. So this setup that we have here is not going to give us any extra byproducts like we do at HV tier. So once we're able to power HV macerators, we do get extra byproducts from these. So it's definitely going to be worth to switch out to these things. But these steam grinders are cheap and easy to run, which is the main goal with this setup. Thank you once again to Apex Predator on YouTube, he really helped me with this design. If you want to see the original of this thing, go check out his episode 6 of GTNH. So after we get the dust here for things like copper, iron, lead, silver, you know, all the basic metals, we do still need a way to smelt this down into ingots. I was considering the steam oven, but I want to move away from steam as much as possible. And we are almost able to sustain the multi-smelter, which is the best furnace in modded. Pretty much the best furnace in modded. We do have to look at some HV circuits though, which is maybe something we'll get to today. But yeah, first we have to sort out this power situation. So I think today we're going to be switching over to diesel. Alright, it's been some time. I've been doing lots and lots of crafting here, trying to gather the machines we're going to need to make our diesel. I think we got everything we need, but it's likely we missed something, as always, right? But I was trying to decide where exactly we want to place this. My original thought was right here, since we need access to our oil supply. Diesel is, of course, a product of oil. The problem is we want to be sending it through to this room in the electric blast furnaces. Part of the reason we need diesel is to reliably cook the stainless steel in this blast furnace. And that's going to be one very long fluid pipe. We're going to end up with a little bit of spaghetti through here, I think. But you know what? Yeah, we're going to do it here. I quite like the idea of all the pipes shown. You guys seem to like that idea as well, so we're going to embrace it here. And speaking of pipes, I did not bring any pipes. That would be quite useful when handling fluids, right? Although one thing I would like to test, now that we have access to polyethylene, can we use plastic fluid pipes for oil? The heat limit is 350. I would assume so, right? I mean, this isn't hot. I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's hook this up and see if the pipe melts. It doesn't look like it is, so I think we're golden. So the first step in this process to making diesel is we want to be pumping our oil into a distillery. Very similar to what we have on this side. In fact, we'll just be adding a separate distillery rather than trying to deal with the sulfuric light fuel from here. This will be distilled on circuit 2 to give us sulfuric light fuel. But we do also have to think about power for this thing. And rather than using the steam we have been using, we're going to use the diesel to power its self-production. So I've crafted up the materials for one advanced combustion generator. And we also have enough here for 4 basics. I'm not going to craft them all at once. Let's see how many exactly we need. So we got the power hooked up to our battery buffer, just like usual, with some small lithium batteries in there. And I've actually added a second distillery. It requires 5 light fuel for every 1 heavy fuel. So the ratio isn't perfect, but yeah, more distilleries for light than heavy. Then these distillery outputs are going to give us sulfuric light fuel, which we have to then mix with hydrogen inside a chemical reactor. So I think we'll place that a couple of blocks above here. And for the hydrogen, I've extended along this fluid line here, which is connected to our super tank full of hydrogen. I'm not sure where we're going to get hydrogen long term, but if it's anything like the other Gregtech packs I've played, we're going to be swimming in hydrogen. Eventually. It's going to take some time, but yeah. And there's going to be multiple sources, so the idea is that we're just going to fill that tank, and I've got a pump on the top of that to export, and that should hopefully fill this chemical reactor, although one of these have to be in tin cans. So I'm thinking that we actually put the hydrogen into tin cans. So instead of a fluid canner, we're going to use the ultra low voltage fluid tanks. And yeah, as I mentioned, eventually we will be using diesel, but just to kickstart this process, we're going to use a little bit of light fuel to get this thing powered. As soon as we enable inputs for this, we should start getting our oil in here. What did I just... Oh, he was right next to us. Oh my goodness, where did he go? Where did he go? There he is there. Do I even want to mess with him here? Oh, that is so dangerous. Yeah, we need walls on this place. We need to close this place off. Oh, I got such a fright there. Anyways, we're going to leave him. I don't think he's mad at us. So yeah, this gives us sulfuric light fuel. We want to pipe this into the chemical reactor. I think we can just auto output from the distilleries. Yeah, that sends everything into the chemical reactor. We need to get our hydrogen in here. So for that, he's still there. So for that, we're going to use the conveyor on the bottom of this tank. This will then be on circuit 4. Actually, instead of placing the chemical reactor here, we're going to move it over a block so that we can easily pipe out, and then this is going to go into the advanced mixer, which is not going to take LV power, right here. This is why we crafted the advanced combustion generator, since the diesel recipe for mixing the light and heavy fuel has to be at least MV, and then yeah, the output of the chemical reactor will go straight into the top of this mixer. Hook this up, yeah, and now all we have to worry about is the heavy fuel side. Oh, and I guess we'll have to deal with the hydrogen sulfide, which I guess can just go in our... Yeah, I think this is the tank here which buffers hydrogen sulfide. Yeah, and then we send it through to this little system here. Just as a test though, this is working as intended, right? You are going to send the hydrogen to the chemical reactor? Please? There we go, okay. Yeah, and it's 12,000 sulfuric light fuel to give us the regular light fuel. Yep, the empty cells should be automatically sent back to the left. Oh, the hydrogen salt. Okay, we're going to need a filter for that then. And then we do want the pump on the side of this thing. This will set to export, which should be placed in the mixer, yeah. Yeah, so to set the filter, I think we have to remove this tank, place it on the side of the chemical reactor, and filter this for only the empty cells. And that means we can get rid of the pump on the right hand side and use fluid auto output, since we're using the conveyor for the items. Then replace our hydrogen tank, and one more conveyor to pull the hydrogen cells into the chemical reactor. And allow input on this one. And then one more filter on the chemical reactor on top. This will be for the hydrogen sulfide cells. Set the filler, drop a tank on top, and this we want to connect round to some tank down there. Although we are now left with an empty cell in this low voltage fluid tank, so I think what we'll do is send it into this one for the hydrogen gas, which will then be passed back to the chemical reactor. So we can do a conveyor module, and then item pipe, which I don't have, item pipe here, and connect this up to this tank. Okay, it's looking very spaghetti, I love it. Especially these wires here, that's pretty cool. Okay, if we get this system running again, once this reaches 12k, we should see all the cells go where we want them to be. But now we have to take care of the heavy side, which is also going to be sent into the mixer to make us our diesel. And in fact, this will be output to a super tank below. Alright, so if I didn't mess anything up then, this should be our heavy fuel side, which ultimately ends up in the mixer and should give us diesel. And to get the heavy oil, we're going to be relying on something called Oilsands ore, which will be sent through the centrifuge. It will also give us a sand byproduct, and then it will be distilled, canned, chemical reacted with more hydrogen, and this should give us heavy fuel. So currently our miner is placed just on the other side of the river actually, and I moved that thing right after last episode for a mica vein. It may actually be finished by now. Oh yeah, this mica ore is going to be very, very important. In fact, I think it's the most rare resource in the overworld. But this mica we're going to be using to upgrade our blast furnace pretty soon. Oh, and I didn't bring the backpacks. Great. Okay. let me collect all this stuff. Alright, all the ore has been transferred back to the base. 27 light fuel cells should be enough for at least another few veins. Although speaking of, I don't actually know if we've found any oil sands. We have apparently one crushed oil sands. I have no clue where this came from, but we can use this for our ore finding wand. And the oil sands veins can be found in mountainous biomes between Y50 and 80, so we do have a few mountains around us. Let's go check over here to the east. Oh, hello there, witch. Cozy little house here up on the mountain. We're gonna leave her alone. Oh, and also I do know that you can get the heavy oil by distilling regular oil, but by using the oil sands, that means that we don't have to move our pump quite as often. You know what, I actually forgot that we had this nature's compass here. It looks like we're only, what, 1300 blocks away from here? Is the closest mountain biome. Assuming there is actually oil sands there. 300 blocks to go. Oh, less than 300. We got oil sands apparently. As always, let's place our combustion generator. Place our miner. Fill it up with fuel. Give it the mining pipes, and we're off. We should be collecting oil sands here. Let's give it a little chest. And we'll come back and check on this thing in, I don't know, an hour or two maybe? Yeah, already in pure oil sands, awesome. Alright, so I've done a little bit of AFKing and we have just over 2 stacks of oil sands to work with. The miner still isn't finished there, but we'll go back for the rest later on. So this is going to be placed in our top drawer, be pulled by the conveyor module into the centrifuge, and give us 2 litres of heavy oil at a time. The sand should be sent over to the left hand side here into the drawer, and the heavy oil should be extracted via this electric pump on the bottom side. Is the distillery plugged in? It is plugged in, okay. Yeah, distillery circuit 1, LV. Our batteries are half full. Oh, I see what's going on here. Yeah, this is actually supposed to be an MV recipe. I've no idea why this light oil is coloured black like this. So I guess we're going to need an MV distillery for this then. And this is our last 4 circuits at MV tier, so we're going to have to make up some more circuits sooner or later. And after all the crafting we done earlier, we're pretty much out of components for everything. Rotors and pipes and screws, all that stuff. But with a little bit of crafting, we can pick up our advanced distillery. Apparently no quest either. Hello, Enderman. Oh, I looked at him, I think. Where did he go? Okay, let's not waste the heavy oil we have in here. We're going to take this out and replace LV with MV. Although this does mean we'll have to get MV power over here, which complicates things a little bit. I mean, I guess we can just put another combustion generator in here. Alright, one more advanced combustion generator. Just making sure that it's not connected to this LV line. And I've seen other people actually dye the cables. I was curious what item did that. Is it the spray can maybe? Is it these things? Anyways, we'll give the combustion generator some light fuel just to get it kick-started. We should be making our diesel pretty soon here. Yeah, we're getting sulfuric heavy fuel, which will be sent into the chemical reactor. I think this is a LV recipe. I hope this is an LV recipe. Oh, we just need circuit 4. Okay. Also, we're getting our heavy fuel. We have to set the filter on the side of this thing and hook up the item pipe. Okay, that sent the heavy fuel into this advanced mixer. I think we may be just missing a circuit on this one. Circuit number 6. Yeah, awesome. We're getting fuel. Output of the super tank, and we can now power HV. Well, almost. we do have to self-power this system, which means that we have to take some of this fuel and feed it into these combustion generators. And this should be as easy as just hooking up a pump on the back of the super tank and plugging in some plastic fluid pipes. One LV on this side. This is our other combustion generator here, and the last MV one is on the end. Alright, some of these combustion generators still have a little bit of light fuel, but those should burn off and clear out. And yeah, it will eventually switch over to fuel, which has a longer and more efficient burn time. So assuming we give this thing oil sands, this is now fully self-contained. Actually, no, it's not. We have to provide it oil as well. And speaking of oil, I'm assuming our pump over here that we set up a couple of episodes ago is now finished. It may just be out of mining pipes. There may still be a bit at the bottom. Yeah, that seems to be what the issue is here. We still have fuel in our batteries. Or fuel. We still have EU in the batteries. I'm going to grab some more mining pipe for this. So I've been doing a bunch of testing again with this setup, just to make sure everything works the way we want it. I have limited the pipes so that we don't have fluid sloshing around. But I did shift this mixer over a block so that we could get access to the left-hand side here. And then we have this tin item pipe which snakes all the way around and into the top of this canner, which will refuel the empty cells we get out of the output of this mixer, which goes through the item pipes and back into the fluid canner so that this can keep cycling around. And I'm aware it doesn't look great, to be honest, but all of this stuff is just temporary. Pretty much everything we've built here is just a temporary base. It's not going to be like this at the very end game. So I've also been doing some more testing here with our blast furnace when we're cooking up some stainless steel. And you know what? As long as all the buffers are full over there for the rest of the steam lines, it looks like we can actually keep up with this thing. So long as we provide this blast furnace with enough oxygen for the recipe. So I may actually hold off on switching this out for fuel or for diesel. But in terms of the amount of diesel we have, it's been around 40 minutes or so since we set this up. And we're at 118,000. That doesn't take into account the buffer that's already in these combustion generators, which have, what, 16 buckets each? So yeah, we are golden for fuel for the next little while. So now that we have a way to power HV machines, let's see if we can unlock this quest tab. For this we need at least 64 stainless steel, which is currently cooking in the blast furnace. And we also have to unlock our advanced circuits here. But for the advanced circuits, we cannot use the electronic circuits. Even though these are still LV tier circuits, they are not compatible with the recipe for the first HVs. To progress though and actually unlock these integrated logic circuits, we do need integrated logic wafers and RAM wafers. The RAM we can get quite easily by putting our wafer through the laser engraver with a ruby lens. Although this other one here requires us to have green sapphire. I'm not even going to try to pronounce these other two, but I had a look through NEI and I don't think we have access to these two yet. In terms of the green sapphire though, I don't think we're looking too hot for that either. We're missing at least 2 of these things, or an exquisite, which we don't have. And the veins of green sapphire are only found in the Twilight Forest. So we got our ore finder 1 configured. Let's go have a little walk around here, see what we can get. Oh, we found one. Wow, that was like 2 minutes. Yeah, next chunk over, awesome. Looks like redstone, but it's actually almandine. And sapphire, this is exactly what we're after. Since our miner is currently busy, I'm just going to do some manual mining. I don't mind digging out a little hole every now and then. Oh nice, we got it. We got the exquisite green sapphire. Nice, I was expecting to have to sift a bunch of this stuff. But since we got the exquisite, we can just chuck this through our advanced lathe. And yeah, this is a good sign. After our trip in the Twilight Forest, we've come back to at least not empty steam tank. And this blast furnace has continuously been cooking us stainless steel. But yeah, the lathe here has given us the green sapphire lens, which we can then combine with the wafer. We got the integrated logic, which I think we just have to throw through the cotton machine. And same with the RAM chip. Looks like we're also running low here on lubricant in the cotton machine. So since we don't yet have the brewing machine. Since we don't yet have a brewing machine, we're just going to buy it with coins. We can get 16 lubricant cells for 25 of the chemist coins. Which actually is not such a bad deal. Alright, so now that we've got our wafers, we have to make our MV circuits here. And this is just a bunch of components we've already seen before. Looks like I didn't really make enough logic circuits, but we have plenty of silicon to work with. Alright, so I've been doing a bunch of gathering materials for our LV circuits here, the integrated logics. The rest of the resistors are just being crafted up in this assembling machine, but I did get enough for double this recipe called for in the quest book. So we got our molten soldering alloy inside the circuit assembling machine. We need our diodes, fine copper wire, some circuit boards, tin bolts, random access memory, and integrated logics. Oh wait, it's resistors, not random access memory. I think the RAM is for the next tier of the circuits. Awesome, awesome. So this is a little bit more expensive than the electronics at LV. I hear many mobs. Where are they? This is not a safe area. Yeah, this is a little bit more of an expensive route to produce LV circuits, but as I mentioned, they are required to produce these first advanced circuits for HV. And speaking of MV, I'm going to start to gather these materials here for the integrated circuits. It looks like it's mostly the same thing. We may be a little bit short on diodes, but the diode quest has a 40-minute cooldown, I believe. We've got 16 minutes left before we can buy 8 more. So I may actually stop this assembler, even though we have the materials for the rest, just to save on the diodes so that we can get our MVs. So as for these good circuit boards, which we looked at last episode, we used to be using this gold wire recipe, but we now have access to sodium persulfate thanks to these little machines on the end here. I think I may have accidentally just voided the fluid on that side actually. That's not great. Yeah, I put this trash can here for when we're electrolyzing clay, because we get water out of this, so yeah, I'm gonna have to get some more salt for that thing. Okay, we got our sodium persulfate. We have to combine this with gold foils and phenolic circuit boards. And this should give us the gold circuit boards, which we can use for the MV circuits. And our integrated circuits have finished in the circuit assembler. Alright, so I went and gathered the rest of the materials, actually for the advanced ones as well, besides this transistor. So for the MVs, we're just waiting on some more diodes on the quest opening up. We've got a few more minutes on that, so let's work on these transistors, which does require some silicon plates. I'm assuming we can just bend the ingots. And we should have a few stacks in our blast furnace here. Yeah, over a stack and a half of silicon ingots. Oh, listen to the sound of everything at once. This is... We need to turn the game sounds down. This is way too loud. Oh, we just got the diode quest pop there. Let's see if I remember the recipe for the MVs. I think it's silver bolts, RAM chips, integrated circuits, diodes, resistors, and fine gold wire. Oh wait, we need 32 we're 2 diodes short. No way. We have to wait 30 I mean, I guess we can make up some manually. Yeah, let's do that. So coming back to our transistors here for the HV circuits, we have to put fine tin wire along with some silicon plates on circuit 2, along with some polyethylene. This is so much crafting. I forgot how crazy Gregtech gets, and we're only in HV as well. We've got a lot more of this coming, but hopefully we should be able to get things automated. It's not going to be like this forever, which is what makes this so rewarding. But yeah, there is our 24 transistors. And once these MVs are done, in fact this may even be enough for the quest, I doubled the recipe once again. And with that we can mix up our very first batch of HV circuits. Oh, did I get the recipe wrong again? Oh, this is gold wire. We need electrum wire. This one. There we go. Awesome. So while we're waiting on the circuit assembler there, I did make some additions to this ore processing system. I added in an extra input chest for all of our impure dusts, which will automatically be pulled into the washer to be washed. I'm slowly getting through our backlog of impures here. And I also relocated our sifting machine over, which automatically takes the input from the simple washer and then outputs to the output chest here. Oh yeah, 12 HV circuits right here. Should be our quest. And that is some interesting rewards right there. I'm not sure if we need the glass lens. I'm assuming since it's given us it, we're going to need it fairly soon. But I think for this specific reward, I'll keep it in the quest book. The rest of these though, I think I'll take... we'll take the loot bag here. Nah, let's hold off on that one as well. I'm too indecisive. I don't know which one to pick. We'll keep them all there for now. I know it kind of triggers you guys. So, once again, I was doing a little bit of AFK, and we're up to 63 stainless ingots. We're 1 away from the quest, 20 seconds here in the blast furnace. Stainless steel. Nice. Does this mean we've opened up HV? It does, look at that. Oh, the pollution here is getting really, really bad. And somehow I lost the hazmat suit I had last episode. I think it just despawned or vanished somehow on this armor stand. So I'm going to have to get another one of those things. Anyways, I think this is a good point to wrap up the episode. I'd like to get this out today. But before we do, we're going to claim some of our quest book rewards. First of all, by making our first HV machine hull, which unlocks the loot bag reward quest. So we have here 9 MVs. We can trade this for some HVs. I don't think the cooldown on this thing is quite as long though. At least I hope not. Okay, here we go. First HV look back. Polytetrafluoroethylene bars. That's really not such a bad reward, actually. Yeah. We have not made polytetrafluoroethylene yet. Okay, let's do it again. An apple. Oh, get out of here. One more. Saplings. Alright, anyways, that is going to do us for today. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all soon for some more Gregtech New Horizons.